Hello again, this is Christopher Neufeld of Neufeld Legal, and this is my continuing YouTube video series on incorporation. In this particular YouTube video, we're going to be looking at 10 mistakes that new business owners do make when naming their company. Mistake number 1, not taking time to properly consider the name. You really need to take time, assess it, even let it rest a bit, and come back, regroup, and look at the viability of that particular name as opposed to other names. Mistake number 2, not trying out multiple options. The problem with getting one gut feeling as to what the appropriate name is that it might not be the perfect name or the appropriate name. But you get it so into your head that you say, we have to go with this particular name. You can't really be assessing a name on your first instinct. You have to understand a lot of points to determine if it is or isn't good for your particular business. Mistake number 3, making the name too difficult to remember. When you tell people the name, they are going to try to remember it, but if it's difficult, it's out there, people are not necessarily going to remember it. So you're going to be losing out on all your efforts to promote your business through the business name, which in turn leads us to mistake number 4, is using an unusual spelling, whether it's mixing up the letters or hyphenating it or putting numbers in the midst of the name. You want to try to get away from making it overly complicated, because people are not going to then be able to find it, whether it's on an internet search engine, telephone books to the extent they still exist, or otherwise. And this inability to find it again is going to drive them to give up on searching for the business. 5th mistake is relying on an acronym. You don't want to rely on an acronym which has an internal meaning, because it has no meaning to the general public. Especially if you're just trying to draw an acronym for a number of people's names in the business, it's going to be problematic. You can't be relying upon that. If you're just going to be using internally that company name and using an alternate name, then you can still possibly get away with an acronym. But if it's at all possible, avoid acronyms. Mistake number 6 is that the name you're assigning to the company has no relation to your business, or actually has creates a distraction because it reflects inappropriately to the business that you're looking to undertake. You really want to have your business linked to your name. Mistake number 7 is overlapping your new business name with an existing company's name. This is a definite no-no, just even from a legal standpoint, but more so from a practical search standpoint, because you got to remember your competition has been building up its brand and its name for a considerable amount of time. That you're trying to get in late to the game is going to put you behind the ball and not ahead of the ball. And you're going to be driving business to your competitor for a while, if not forever. And then you come down with a lawsuit because you were second or third or fourth in line to pursue that particular name. Mistake number 8 is failing to research for similarities. One of the ways you research for similarities, you go on the internet and use the search engines to see if there's any similar or divergent but close to it names that could be problematic. You go to trademark offices. In the US, it's the United States Postal Patent and Trademark Office, which is at www.uspto.gov. And for Canada, it's www.ic.gc.ca. You're also wanting to look at, in Canada, a nuanced name search and name reservation. And in the United States, you're going to be going based on the particular state for its own name search and name registration process to protect your business and to make sure you're actually even allowed to use that particular business name in the state. Mistake number 9 is that you cannot attain the appropriate internet domain name. Given how much searching is done with the internet these days, you really want to have the domain name locked down as well as the corporate name. Otherwise, you're going to be potentially driving business to somewhere else, or you're going to just be frustrating people after they remember your name that they cannot find it on the internet, and this in turn results in you losing business that you've almost successfully attained but been driven away by the nuances of search algorithms on the internet. And finally, and most importantly, mistake number 10 is not testing out your intended business name for the company with real people. Really, you want real people engaged in the process, assessing you and giving their critical, unbiased opinions as to whether that name is appropriate for your company. Especially when you have multiple names before them. You might be really particular on a given name, but it's only when somebody gives you an unbiased and frank look that they show you that there's particular defects with that particular name, and you really need to be moving on from the name, even if it means scrapping every previous name and starting again from the drawing board. Hopefully those 10 mistakes will elucidate yourself to having a better ability to name your own company. We trust you found this particular YouTube video informative, and we very much appreciate your liking this video and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thank you.